Hello, and welcome to What's Your Story? We have an incredible guest for you today. His name is Nelson Sardelli, and I've been an admirer of his for many, many years. Welcome, Nelson. We're really glad
Thank
to
you,
have
Judy. It's a pleasure being here.
I know that probably a lot of people out there know who you are because you were one of the entertainers in Vegas for a long time, and as well as in Brazil. You were a big star in Brazil before you came to...
A semi-name, yes.
Yes, You were like the Elvis of Brazil, I think, weren't you?
No, not really.
Yeah, we have
Actually,
a picture of you from back then that we're going to put up on
my entertainment started in the States mostly.
Or did it really?
Oh, yes. The things that I did in Brazil were, before I came, I was only 21. They were minor, so when I went back to Brazil, I was already established here.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, now, when did you come to Vegas?
I came to Vegas in 1965.
Wow, yeah. You came here I think I came in 62, so we came here about the same time.
About the same time, yeah, yes.
Of course, I'm older than you, so...
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I am 7 years.
Yes, me too.
You know 7 years.
4 scores, isn't that 10 years?
No, it's 87.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm pretty close.
No, I chose this patriotic age, 4 scores. And
did you choose that?
No, I didn't choose. I was born in 1934, so I had no chance.
Oh, wow.
This is it.
Yeah,
take it or leave it.
Yeah, so you've been an entertainer for years and years and years, and then about, I think, 15 years or so ago, you started this group, Fiore.
18 years ago.
18 years ago.
18 years ago.
And this is an interesting group. I had the honor to speak to this group.
Yes, you did, and you did a fantastic job, impressed the people, and you were loved by all, as usual.
Oh, thank you. So tell our audience about that group, because it's just so fun.
Well, the group is something completely off the wall, because years ago, I started another group called the Cast, which was seriously to help entertainers that happened to be, I hate to say down and out, but they had to be having a little hard time. It was seriously. But when you put a lot of entertainers together to create a group, you are dealing with egos.
Boy, do I know
that. Oh, my God, yes. I say, my people are letting me down here. So after so many months as a creator, I could not get a financial report. And we had already collected over like $18,000. And my way of thinking is my name is attached to this.
Mm-hmm.
Should it hit the fan, the situation, I'll have the $18,000 to give it back to everybody and keep my name.
Mm-hmm.
So I just pulled myself out. I say, you guys carried on, which they didn't. After a little while, it just faded away. So I decided, after being not member, because I'm not much of a joiner, going to other groups and things, I say, now what we need here is a group that is a non-group. And I came up with the idea, because we are the non-club Fiore. We have no agenda, we're not charitable, we're not political. We are like Switzerland. We don't get involved.
You're neutral.
We're neutral and we don't get involved, yes. And we've been going for 18 years. First was just guys. Then as the years went by, I said, wait a minute, we are not a cursing bunch. We're a fun bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Why not
include the ladies?
Have the ladies, because we used to have them when we had a Christmas or something, but was, And once we did the right move of including the ladies, the club seemed to blossom, We have, I would say, easily over 200 members.
Yes.
And
what does that stand for, Fiore?
Fiore in Italian is a word for flower, but not for us. For us is anachronism, they say, right? For fun Italians organizing ridiculous events.
I love it.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. And but we have a guest every time. Not only this, let's start. First of all, we have live music
Every time.
every time, and paid musicians, because I believe in, musicians are asked to do this, asked
Yes,
to do that.
yes.
And so we always have live music. We have fantastic speakers, such as yourself when you came, but we have had doctors, we have had governors, we had even an 80 years old stripper.
Oh my goodness.
No, she was actually an author, and is always fun. And some of the big stars we had.
And you've had entertainers. I've been there a couple of times. where
Yes,
You've had entertainers.
Gordy Brown, Clint Holmes, Marty Allen, then separately Steve, his partner guy.
Steve Allen, isn't it? No.
No.
Steve,
Yeah,
I know.
good. It's-
Steve Rossi.
Thank you.
I knew it.
About 87 years ago.
Yeah, but see, it's good because our audience can see us struggling with our
Of
memory
course,
a little
struggling is
bit.
good,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. But we get there eventually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But so the club is being flourishing.
Well, and you have lunch. I mean, what a good deal. You get live music, you get entertainment or a speaker.
Yes.
You have a great lunch.
Yes, we give stuff away.
Yeah.
It became a thing that people bring things. We give, not whatever. Maybe people are cleaning their garages or something.
Oh, I didn't know you would accept. I've got a lot of donations
Oh,
for you.
please. Yeah, because we do it. We make. How can I say? Not a raffle, because they don't pay for that.
Yeah.
And we just call names and give. And there is one regulation: once the gift is given to you, you must take it. You must accept it.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, so it's been going, and we found a great headquarters, which is the Italian American Club. We are totally autonomous. We are not associated
Yeah, you
with them.
just
That's our
rent that
venue.
room,
That's
yeah.
our venue. No, we don't even rent the room.
Oh,
They're kind enough to open for us on the second Thursday of every month,
that's amazing.
because they don't open during the day.
Yeah.
But for us, they open for lunch, and they staff the place, and it's a perfect place because we have privacy, we have a stage, we have sound, lights,
Oh, it's a great room.
and the food is always fantastic.
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
great room.
Yes,
and the
it
food is very, very good.
But then, again, in the words of Forrest Duke, we live in the best city of them all.
Oh, yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Interesting you mentioned Forrest Duke. I haven't heard his name in a while.
It's funny. Those are names that we don't forget. Joe Delaney, Forrest Duke, Ralph Pearl.
Yeah, and they had their own television shows
Yes,
as well
yeah.
as newspaper
Oh, we
columns.
did
and-
funny things when Forrest Duke was a a columnist that always had good words.
Yes.
He was relevant he was the man. Also, Joe Delaney. Ralph Pearl never quite got the story right, but he was a lovely man. So Forrest Duke had also his television show in the old Channel 3 NBC,
Yes.
way on Sahara by the Boulder Highway. That was about like 1 o'clock in the morning, something like this. And one night, when Pat Boone was appearing in town, I got my Vespa. I'm Italian. I have to have a Vespa. It's mandatory. And I got Pat Boone on the back. He had a hat on, and we walked. We told the guy, say, open that door. We're gonna come in while he's on.
Oh,
So it was like
Yeah.
you're doing right now. Imagine, vroom. I pulled with Pat Boone, and Pat Boone was looking very rough, and with his hat on, smoking a cigar, spitting on the floor, doing purpose.
who would imagine that of Pat Boone?
exactly.
Mr. Clean.
Pat, not only is he clean, he has a most wonderful sense of humor. Sometimes we get on the phone, we go for an hour. We talk from religion to politics, and his sense of humor is always fantastic, And I introduced him as Washington Sardelli, my brother. And Forrest hadn't quite got it yet. And then, of course, in no time, he realized it was Pat Boone. And we start talking, and I look at Pat, I said, Pat, I think you have a fantastic show, but I don't think you should sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow 3 times on the same show. He looked at me and says, Nelson, you don't know what you're talking about because you're a foreigner, and what do you know? I said, I beg your pardon, you should not bring my heritage into this. And we got up and we had practice a fake punch,
Yeah.
Because we got really serious, and he boom, and I went back and forth, commercial. And I have all this in pictures.
Oh, wow.
Those days we didn't have phones like today that everybody became Cecil B. DeMille, Everybody's filming. Whatever you do, somebody's filming. And it was the fun of the time, And I believe that 65 in that area when we came was the tail end of one era.
Yes.
A great era.
Yes.
A great era. Fantastic. Was the town when a Sinatra came, a Dean Martin, the town vibrate, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was beautiful.
I used to I owned a model agency,
Yes.
as you know, back then, and I would produce fashion shows for conventions that came to Vegas, like for the Teamsters Union,
Yes.
and for other groups that came to Vegas, and so it was for the spouses, for the wives back then, and I asked the Teamsters Union, could you get me a star? Could you just get me somebody to be like in the show? Because I'm going to do the fashion show, but I need somebody who's somebody in the show. And they said, okay, we'll get you somebody. Well, the day of the show, these 4 big guys come walking in, and they come right up to the front for rehearsal. They came walking in, and I didn't see there was a little bitty guy in the middle between the 4 big guys, and it was Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh my God, yeah.
And they said, here's Sammy, he's going to be in your show. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And he was so great to work with. He did the rehearsal, and then for the show, of course, he did Candyman, which brought the house down. And
Of course.
He was just awesome to work with.
Yeah.
And that was those kind of days,
Yeah.
We could just say, could you send over somebody? And you didn't know who they would send, and you ended up with some great entertainer, and it was fabulous.
Yeah, it's Sammy Davis Jr., undoubtedly one of the greatest entertainer ever.
Oh.
But he put me through the ringer in one show that we did in Los Angeles. Deacon Jones was a football player, and he wanted to be a singer. So he had a gimmick. Every time after the game, they would go to the Coconut Grove in Los Angeles, big, and he would invite guests to be in the show. And this was like on Sundays, and they were getting better. So I was invited. I remember I was in the mountain, the Catskills, and I flew in to do the show. And in the show was going to simply be me, 2 comedians that had radio shows. They were not comedians, they were radio show personality. And they had a 7-minute routine, and Sammy Davis Jr. So anybody in his right mind know that the order would be me first, the other guys, because they're radio personalities from Los Angeles, and Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah, he's the big star who
I mean,
last.
end of story. No. First of all, I went to rehearse, and the band, there was some real tension there for some reason. And I got to rehearse like 2 songs and a little bit of a Dean Martin routine that I used to do for fun, which was nothing. But I said, well, what the heck? I'm going to do a few minutes. So when we're ready to go on, I said, so I go first, right? The guy said, no. Sammy Davis Jr. goes first. I say, testing, 1, 2, 3. Am I speaking English here? I said, what do you mean Sammy Davis go first? Oh, he just want to get up and do a couple of minutes. I said, Sammy Davis Jr. doesn't know a couple of minutes. When the refrigerator opens, he does 50 minutes because the light comes on. And but that's the way it is. So Deacon Jones does the first song, and between you and I, he wasn't no singer, but one of the kind of singers that when he finishes the song, he has to go, yeah, which means now's the time to give me some applause. He put Sammy Davis on, and Sammy Davis did nothing but 45 minutes of closing numbers, you know. It was the Candy Man, and Who Can I Turn To, you know, everything, you know. Sammy Davis, end of story. But oddly enough, he did not get a standing ovation, which, you know. So now they call, after him, they called the two guys, the radio personalities, to do their 7 minutes. The guys walk on and says, "Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are so and so, and usually we have a routine that lasts 7 minutes, but tonight, because we are intelligent people, the best thing for us to do is to introduce the next guest, Nelson Sardelli." And they didn't do the show, and there I was. I went on, and for some reason, the good Lord was protecting new Americans. And I did 45 minutes too, with those three little things and comedy and my guns, and I got a standing ovation. And while I am doing, I'm hearing bang down on the back, a door like was broken. And when I finish, I got a standing ovation, you know, which is funny. And I couldn't believe, you know. And when I left, the moment I went to the background, my manager, George Sawyers, grabbed me and said, "Let's go, Nelson, let's go." I said, "What do you mean, let's go, let's go? I want to bask on this moment of glory." He says, "No, Nelson, let's go." And I saw there was a door of my dressing room that had been punched down.
Oh.
And he said, "The guys want to do you some, you know, talk to you." You know, Deacon Jones' friend. And I couldn't understand. He didn't quite tell me yet. He says, "Just let's go." So I start walking to my room, wondering why. And one of those guys came and I put my arm around him. I said, "I hope you enjoyed the show." And I went in, and it was this big gun. And I said, "Oh, it looks like an automatic. It's the same kind that I carry." You know, when I go to the room, I kept asking George, "Why can I not go there and see the people? Let them tell me, nice job." You know, I'm an entertainer. That's what we live for. And he told me, he says, "They're going to do a number on you." I said, "Are you kidding?" He says, "Well, he had guns." I say, "Well, what do you think this is?" In those days, in those days, I always carried the thing. And anyway, I went down. There was no way nobody would stop me. And nothing happens, of course. I looked around, but by then, everybody had gone. The following week, Sammy Davis come to do the town, the Sands, and we do the Joe Delaney show. You know, remember the Joe Delaney show on Valley View? The little, it was the ABC there, Channel 13.
13, yeah.
Still there, still now. And we sat there and we started talking. I said, "Whoa, Sammy, I seem to have gotten the guys real mad yesterday." He says, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, you know, I did my 45 minutes, and I guess they were upset, and they said that they're going to do a number on me." He says, "What? They're going to do a number on you? I never heard of anything like that. But I told them not to bother you." You see, you catch that? I never heard anything about it, but I told them to leave you alone. I say, "Yes, Sammy, right on." Yeah, he was good. Great times, yeah.
Interesting that you mentioned the guns, because I saw your show up in Reno once, and you did a whole exhibition of gunfighting.
Well,
gun twirling or something.
Yeah, in those days, how can I say? My father was a policeman when I was a young man.
Oh, really?
In
I
Brazil,
didn't know that.
yeah. And so guns for me was, you know, just learn to respect them, but I never thought about it. In 1963, when I was traveling and singing with Jay Mansfield, we're in the South, in Biloxi, Mississippi, where later on she, you know, died from the trip from Biloxi to Atlanta, whatever. And we did so many charities during the day, visiting hospitals, and we're driven by the state police.
Mm.
And this guy, Frenchie was his name, the sergeant. When we left, he gave me a badge, which started a big collection that I have today. Sometime if you come to our home, you'll see the collection that I have, almost as big as Elvis. And he gave me this Crossman gun. Looks very real, but was air pistol, and a belt. So I said, yeah, good, cute. So I went to Europe. But when I came back, I'm moving from apartments, and I'm alone, and I realized that I had the badge and the gun, and I'm around alone. So I put the gun on, and I'm surrounded by Indians. And I started just playing with it, and I realized that I had some dexterity. So for 1 year, I messed around with it, but I never thought of incorporating in my show. And then a guy came and he says, Nelson, why don't you do that in the show? I said, what am I going to do in the show? So I created at that time what today they would crucify me for. I created a gay cowboy.
I remember.
You know what I mean? Because humor for me is humor, you don't do it malice. And I had this, he was a wonderful cowboy. He wanted to redecorate the West. He was marvelous. And I started doing it and became a fun thing. And then in Oklahoma City, I shut the door of the car in my thumb, and I had to learn how to do the whole night. I was in such a pain with the left hand. So I started doing it, and for a while I became, the guy with the guns, and which gave me troubles when I travel in Canada. They almost put me in jail. In Turkey, I say, oh my God, I saw the movie Midnight Express. I don't want to go to jail here.
No, I don't think you want to go to jail anywhere.
Anywhere.
Much less there.
Yes. Talking about jail, your paintings are fantastic. How do you like the
That's
segue?
a great transition. You did real well.
I've been watching you, and it's funny, you sometimes forget not you don't forget. You just don't get a chance to see the different talent that people have. You surprised me with your paintings, and I was looking at this one you put it on Facebook.
Yeah.
The panda.
Right.
Wow.
Thank
the
you.
detail is great, and I the sense of perspective is right there. But then I was impressed with the background. There was some major detailing there, and I'm really impressed. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Thank you. There's a funny story about that panda picture. I painted that in a class up in Washington State, and I really was getting into it, but I couldn't get the pandas. The pandas chewing on a piece of bamboo.
Bamboo, yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't get it just right, and I was really kind of moaning about it and everything. And I went out to the ladies' room, and I came back, and I looked at the panda, and he had a pipe in his paw. He was like holding this pipe, and it was in his mouth, and he was holding this pipe, not bamboo, but pipe, and he had a belly ring. And I'm looking at my painting, and I thought, how did that happen while I was in the ladies' room? My teacher was falling over laughing. He thought that was so funny that he had painted a pipe and a belly ring on my panda while I was out of the room. I was so upset. And he goes, it's acrylic, for goodness sake, paint over it. And so I did. I painted over it. But every time I look at that panda picture now, I see that belly ring and that pipe, even though it's not there anymore.
So you do oil, right?
No, I do acrylic.
Acrylic, me too.
I do watercolor and acrylic.
Oh, no.
Oh, and you do acrylic?
Well, let's put it this way. My first painting, I remember, I started was going to be a nice lake, and I work on it. By the time I was finished, is a nice prairie with a fence.
Isn't it funny how that happens?
It sure does.
You start out doing one thing,
Well,
and it turns out to be
but
something
it was
else.
my first attempt without any lessons without anything. You know, I just
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as a way to, to diverse or entertain yourself.
It is, and it's a great way to relax.
Yes.
And to relieve stress in
Yes,
your life.
yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
I started painting because I had cancer. And the doctor said to me, "You go and take art lessons." And I said, "Are you out of your mind? I couldn't paint if I had to." And he goes,
Yeah.
"Go take art lessons." And I said, "Well, why would I do that?" And he said, "So you would sit still for 3 hours and be quiet and keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
You just need the stillness." And so I started taking art lessons, and then I found out I loved it. And now I teach at UNLV.
Yes, yes.
So if you know anybody who wants to go to art class, I'm
I
at
definitely-
UNLV Continuing Education.
We have a friend that I would like for you to meet her. She's also does some paint. She was a guest at the Fiore. She
Oh.
came and she did a painting, and we chose in a way that the painting would be the first prize to give to
Oh,
one of the.
great.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting. I hate to talk to you about this. The cancer, how many years ago was that?
It's been 11 years now.
11
Mhm.
years.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. They told me I had a year.
Yeah, 11 years.
So I hung in there, you know.
Good.
But it just proved to me that you can get well.
Of
you know.
course, of course.
It's such a panic when you hear that word, but
Of
you
course.
can get well.
My God,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you're doing well. I mean, you're healthy for 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, age lets you know sometime that, that you cannot do the things you once could. But I am blessed. I think I am fairly good health. In fact, my doctor said that on paper I look fantastic.
Well, you look pretty fantastic in person too. It's not just on paper.
Yeah, on paper I look fantastic. Yeah, yes, that's okay. It's very good. And I am actually show business wise right now. I'm out of the game for quite some time. I limit myself by doing a little charity now and then. Through charity, I must underline that. And also for 18 years, I was taking like 30 entertainers, musicians to the Veterans Home in Boulder City. And we did a 4-hour show.
Oh, I bet
Oh,
that
yeah.
was wonderful.
It's
for
great.
the
Last year we
veterans.
didn't because of COVID. We will see what happens next year. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I would not live anyplace else.
No.
No.
Why would we?
Well,
Las
that's
Vegas
exactly.
is about the best place in the world.
It is. Of course, Europe always fascinated me, being Italian descent. Italian is great. I loved Australia, was also another great place, and Brazil, where I still have relatives. But I visit a place now and I say, no,
Yeah.
here's where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And besides, I mean, you don't do entertainment anymore, but you're a big star over there at the,
No big star,
at the
no.
Fiore Club. Those people, they're always asking you to entertain, and you won't do it. You really got to do it one day.
Well, I feel fine. There are so many other talents over there, and because I am the one who runs the
Yeah,
meetings,
yeah.
I feel that they have too much of me. Now they are demanding that I be the guest speaker one day.
Yeah, I think they should.
I know, but I'm very funny. There are other people. Let's have them. For me, just ask me a question, and I'll answer, and we move on.
So if we were sitting at home watching this show,
Yeah.
and we hear you and you're so fun, and we hear about this great group,
Yeah.
would it be all right for us to come, to call up, make a reservation? And
Well,
come?
we have a great website which has been done by one of our members. She's a Brazilian girl, Sandra Seisler. We have a website that impresses me, and in the website it has everything you want to know about the Fiore, but was afraid to ask. The Fiore, like I said, is open to everybody, but we like to have our friends there because it's a friendly group, and we need people with low expectations and great attitude. That's basically one of the requirements. And you must be Italian or not.
I see.
We're very strict about that.
Yeah.
To be a member, you must be Italian or not.
Okay.
Matter of fact, we have more Jewish members than Italian. And, usually somebody brings somebody,
Yes.
a member. And, but if somebody want to come to one of our meetings, the first time they can do, they just must RSVP because the Italian American Club opened for us, so they got to know how many people
Exactly.
to be feeding. But to join the club, it costs you, it's a little abusive, but to join the club, it costs you $1. Oh, yes. It costs $1, and every man that joins is a president.
Oh, okay.
Every man is a president. If he's married and his wife is joining, she's a first lady.
Mm-hmm.
And if a single lady, an attached lady, joins us, she is an ambassador. We're going to say that she could be an intern, but somehow, for some reasons, intern has bad connotation due to a former president of ours. And so, we have no interns, we have ambassadors. And then it costs $25 a year. $10 for the first ladies because the husband is already paying, and $15 for the ladies, which give us some cushion to pay for the musician.
Right.
Because nobody makes any money. In fact, we a couple of times have come short, but it's all right. It's just wonderful. It's great. What a great community. And I was able to really gather together a fantastic bunch of folks.
Yes. This has been so fun.
Thank you.
Nelson Sardelli, having you here with us on
But
this
I'm
show.
not done. I have nothing to do for the rest of the day. So
Oh, you're
we
gonna
are
stay
stuck
for a
here.
while? All right.
We're going to be talking. We're going to be talking. And people at home, you're going to be there.
Well,
Because
it's
it's COVID.
quite all right for you to
Where
stay.
can they go?
We have some other guests coming in. You could interview them. And,
Other guests?
Yes.
What am I? Anyway, I'll tell you one guest I want to suggest that you have eventually when you have the time. My daughter, Giovanna Sardelli.
Oh, I know.
Let me tell you,
I
she
haven't
is,
seen her since she was a teenager.
but she is one of the 5 best female directors for theater.
I know.
She is involved in so many things. She's going all over the country, directing, and it's really quickly. I know that you have other guests. When she told me, because she was an actress on television, she was a nurse in one of those
Hospital type shows.
hospital
Yeah.
type of shows, yeah. But she says, no, I don't want to be that. I want to direct. And when she told me she was directing a play, I didn't tell I was going to go. But I went and I sat on the back because I say, no, if she's not good, I'm going to tell her. The same way that I give a lot of incentive, I also tell, well, kid, maybe not it. But Giovanna is the one that she's a second dan karate. She never,
Yes.
she goes. She was good and really good, and now she is in demand, and this is a tough
It's
profession.
a tough business.
And she has some interesting.
I would love to have her
when
on my
when
show.
she's back and your
The
time
last time
alone.
I saw her, she was a teenager.
Oh,
she
yeah,
was
yeah,
a little
yeah.
girl.
And the other daughter, Pietra,
Yes.
is a big deal at the Water District. Yes.
Wow.
I'm being very blessed with that.
You have been very blessed
Yes.
with wonderful daughters.
And then I get to know you.
Yeah.
We've been friends, what, since,
Oh, goodness, since the 1970s.
or even the 65, because when I came, I came to appear at the Thunderbird.
Oh,
Then I kept-
that's right. That's right. You did. And I was Miss Thunderbird Hotel back then.
There you go. And
Can
then,
you believe that?
and then I was the last opening act for Judy Garland. Yeah, we have some history.
Yeah.
Sure,
It's been a while.
sure. Yeah, it's been.
But it's so wonderful to have you on my show and to just see you, because we don't get a chance to talk very
We
often.
don't, yeah. And it's, for me, it's marvelous to know that you're doing well, you're healthy, you remain beautiful,
Thank you.
and all that.
No wonder I've had a crush on you all these years.
Well, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. That I can understand.
I figured you could. I figured you could.
Oh, God.
Well, I'm going to thank you again for being here.
I thank you for having me, Judy. It's a pleasure indeed. And
And if you would like to tell my guests anything about where they can contact you, or
Well-
how they can come to the Fiore, or
Oh, yeah, well,
if they want to book you to do a major show.
No, I no more shows for me. I just want to tell all my guests that stay safe, and whether you believe on the vaccine is about you. Take care of your health, be well, and love people. Basically, that's what we're here for.
That is
It's a
what we're
very
here for.
short trip.
That's what we're here for.
And
And I love you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for being here.
thank you, thank you.
And thank you for joining us today. And I hope that you'll come back with us again very, very soon.
And if anybody can tell me anything about my posture, I would appreciate it.